学起来就很少。
哎，侬看15分钟要去猜一个东西，侬真不要去猜故事。
这个有事的，有在。
一样的不用开了你，一样的别开了。
我这
这是一样的，一模一样的，一模一样，没有班级的区分的。它没有班级的区分的。
你说的话我都听到了，你赶紧把那个。
Good morning, everybody. Hold on one second. Great. Okay, if I could just ask you, let me know that you can see the document in front of you, the PowerPoint presentation. Can everybody see the words RWInc?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Awesome. Okie doke. We're going to get started with this session here. As I've mentioned before, the session is being recorded, so you do have the opportunity to go back and look over the session again, if you choose to, if it's easier for you to do that at a later date as well. This will be available on the Microsoft Teams, and we'll also post up the PowerPoint to Tapestry as well, or also. So it's basically journey. Let's just make everybody. I am waiting on somebody to help with admitting people into the chat. Excellent. There we go. We should have the screen back now. It's an opportunity for us to talk. Oh gosh. I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes and let the people in the lobby enter the and to have somebody to help me admit people who are arriving. Thank you very much for your patience on this. I know the connection is not great, and people are coming in dribs and drabs.
Hello?
Hi, Steve.
Guys, I can hear you. And hi. Hi. Just one second. Just letting a few more people into the chat. Seeing if I can get a moderator to come in and allow people to enter the chat as well. And that way we can get started with the presentation.
I don't know if that freeze. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Those of you who are joining or just joining now to the recording, so it's an opportunity for you to go back and have a look at it later. Just now waiting for Emma to come and join us.
Hi.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Hello, good morning.
Hi. Just a couple more minutes to let the last few people come in, and we can get started. I've got quite a lot of content to get through. I'm just going to try one more time to get Emma in. If not, we're going to have to start. Okay, excellent. So hopefully you can see the PowerPoint in front of you. I may have to go back and forth to allow people to join the chat, but really it's an opportunity for me to talk to you about what the next steps are for your children, how they're developing language, and how they're picking up phonics as they move beyond nursery into reception year 1 and year 2. Hold on a second. Okay, so this time I'm going to ask you to just mute your microphones if you could, just to cut out some of the background noise. And I'm going to begin because I can't go back and forth. So RWInc. Everybody can hear me, first of all. Can you just make sure that you guys can hear me and you can see the documentation?
Mm-hmm.
Great stuff. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the system that we use to teach phonics beyond nursery, into reception, into year 1, into year 2, and beyond. And it's called RWInc. And the idea is to give you an idea of what it is, how it works, how it's taught in our school, and to also give you some ideas, some strategies that you guys can use at home to help your child to develop with their language. One of the things I often find useful when talking about how children acquire language is to try and put ourselves in this kind of position of not knowing. I don't remember what it was like for me to acquire language. I'm not sure whether you guys do, but looking at something like this in front of us, which is the Lao word for hello, you can see how children might look at squiggles on a page, black marks on a page, and not know what they mean. For us, language is so second nature. And it's been such a long time since we learned it that sometimes we take for granted that having an empathy and having a thought process around not knowing what is a good starting point. When you're thinking about helping young children to begin to use letters very, very early, very quickly. It's rooted in phonics, and English
Acabo de cambiar la configuración.
as a language is building make words, and then they make sense of what they can see on the page. Then it all starts to click. Children really start to develop.
Sorry to interrupt, Steve. We cannot hear you. Sometimes it cut a little bit, and I think some people too have the microphone on, so I think also that doesn't help with the communication.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I seem to have dropped out here. Can everybody hear me?
Not really from here. It's keeping cutting all time.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I
Okay,
can hear one of every 5 words.
Oh my goodness. Right, okay. That's not ideal. Okay, let me... I'm going to try and go to a different area in the school. Oh my gosh. I'm going to try and go to a different area in the school. Oh gosh. And if we're unable to continue, then I'll try and sort something out. I'm going to leave a brief moment and I will come back, hopefully with better internet in just a moment. Okay, how's this? Can anybody hear me now? Is this any better? Better? Yes. Fantastic. Okay. Right, cool. Excellent. My apologies, guys. Sometimes we okay, sure. Okay, sometimes we have gremlins in the system and we're unable to sort them out, but I've come to our classroom now, and so hopefully from here we shouldn't have as many problems. Apologies for that. I'm going to restart the recording. Oh, actually, the recording is still going on. So I'm going to restart the sharing of the documentation. Gosh. Now, where is it now? There we go. So rewriting. I'll come back over this for those of you who didn't have a chance to hear. So we're going to talk a little bit about how RWInc is taught in our school and what it means in terms of children's progression in phonics. So some of you who will have been with my class in the nursery, some of you who came to the workshop that I did on Tuesday about nursery children will have seen how our phonic work begins, and this really is the continuation of that. So an interesting thought process that I have is to have a look at something like this. We try and put ourselves in the shoes of children who are just learning to read for the very first time. This to me doesn't mean anything. I don't know if it means anything to you guys, but it's from an analytic language which is similar to English in that the marks on the screen represent sounds. Until you learn the sounds, the marks mean nothing. And for our children in reception who are just beginning their journey into written sounds, written phonic sounds, this is to them what this is to us. So that for us teachers, that really helps to give us that empathy with children who are just learning language for the very first time. Now, RWInc as a system is systematic and it's structured. So children learn sounds in a very specific order. The idea behind that is to give them success with letters as soon as they possibly can. It's rooted in phonics, just like the language I showed you before. Each sound, each letter makes a sound. And let me just see if I can get Emma in. Each letter makes a sound, and as a result, you can use those sounds as the building blocks of language, and you can build up words and phrases and sentences over time. As I say, children learn bit by bit. They have early success in reading as soon as they can. If I could just ask us to mute our mics just for the time being, to try and cut out some of that background noise, that would be great. Thank you very much. So after the children have learned their first 5 sounds in RWInc, we can start to play around with those sounds, and they can work on the basis that those 5 sounds make words. And once they have that kind of idea in their head that these are the building blocks of language, then it all really starts to come together. So children in reception, those who are just beginning their phonic journey, and also those of us who are new to the school, this will be the first kind of phonics that you have experienced. These are called speed sound sessions, and this is where it all really kind of begins. This is where the children learn the building blocks of language. Sounds are taught systematically. They make their way through the alphabet. They're not taught in alphabetical order, but they're taught in the order that allows them to begin to make words as quickly as they possibly can. Exactly this. So once they've learned enough sounds to be able to play around with them, they're encouraged to do so. Teachers move quite efficiently through the sounds to give children as many tools for language creation as possible. So in reception, if your child is in one of the reception classes, the likelihood is at the very start of the year, from the start of the year, they've been learning 3 or 4 sounds a week, which sounds like a lot. It sounds like it's fast, but they bring it on board really very quickly. What I'd like to do now, you guys can see me? Excellent. What I'd like to do now is kind of take you through a little element of a speed sound session. I would have much preferred to do this in person, because then you have the people in front of you as though they were the class, and then I'd be able to have this kind of back and forth. Unfortunately, with the situation that we're in, we're at a distance, so I'm going to have to kind of pretend that you guys are communicating with me as we go. We're going to do a session where I'm going to pretend that you are my class and we are learning for the very first time the sound t. T. So we're going to be working on the sound t today. T, t, t. What we have in RWInc is a selection of resources that helps us visually to bring on board and understand the sounds that we're learning. So for the sound t, we use the flashcards. We can see this is a monster with teeth. There are his teeth. A train. A tree, and a tower. Excellent. So then we would shuffle them up, show them again. This time the children would be the first to speak. Teeth, tree, tower, train, and you would go over those a few times until the children are showing real kind of fluency with those sounds. So before the children even see what the shape of the letter looks like, we're talking about how it sounds. And then as a teacher, you would bring out your board, and the RWInc icon for for the letter T is a tower. So as your teacher, you would draw the tower on your board. There it is. Looking good. Little bush maybe at the bottom. And that is how that sound is formed. With your finger, you go down the tower and across the tower. T, 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 tower. And then just next to it, so they can see the similarity in those sounds, there is the shape. Down the tower and across the tower. T, 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 tower. Oh. Okay, I've been asked to log out and log back in.
No, sorry, not you. Don't you log out. It was just the other parent. I thought I was giving that advice. I can see you. I think the other parents can see you, but sometimes
I see perfectly and hear perfectly. Please don't log out.
Don't you go anywhere, mister.
Of course. No, no, thank you very much. Okay, down the tower. Where were we with the down the tower? And
excuse me, I can't see you, Steve.
Milagros, is that you?
Yes, it's me. I can't see you.
If you can't see, can I suggest that you log off the call and try and log back in and see if that works?
Okay.
Sorry, Steve. We'll try and communicate through the chat so we don't interrupt your flow.
Not to worry. Thank you. Excellent. Okie dokie. So by the time the children are learning the T sound, they've already learned the first 4. In RWInc, those are M, A, S, and D. And now, as part of this session, they've learned T as well. So we just go shuffling through the cards, and we ask the children to, as quickly as they can, say those sounds first. So we do a little flashcard session with D, S, A, T. You can mix them up in a variety of ways. The good thing about these cards is that they are small, they're very, very portable, and a teacher will be carrying these around with them during the day, particularly in reception where children have what we call continuous provision. There are opportunities while children are in their learning areas for the teacher to go forward and just do 2 minutes of flashcards and just highlight, make sure those children are bringing those sounds on board. So now the children have learned the first 5 sounds of the session. They then have an opportunity to write those sounds down. I left my whiteboard wiper in the other room. So you guys, obviously, if you were here physically, I would have one of these for you, and we'd be practicing that sound on the boards. You'll just have to imagine. I imagine you guys know how to write. So we just go down the tower and across the tower, our magic fingers. There's a variety of ways that you can do this with children. Sometimes they trace the letter on the back of the person that they're sitting next to, or in the air. In reception or places where there are continuous provision, sometimes we will be able to draw in paint or in sand. There's a variety of ways that we can do it to keep it upbeat and keep it fun. And then the children learn to apply that sound. And the way we do that is through Fred Talk. And Fred Talk, I'm going to get onto just now. So let me just reshare the documentation. So Fred Talk is a way that children can physically put together a word, and they can understand that a word is made up of sounds. And the way that we do that in RWInc, well, there's a variety of ways, but the way we tend to do it is on our Fred fingers. We use this as an opportunity to help the children to learn to spell, and it helps the children to break the words down into sounds. So they put the sounds they hear on a word on their fingers, which is quite a tricky thing to explain. I'm going to show you what I mean just now. We call this Fred fingers because Fred the Frog helps us with our phonics session as part of the RWInc scheme. I'm going to show you what I mean rather than try and explain it any further. So with the t having been taught, and with the children having learned those sounds previously, we would then use our Fred fingers. We just get 3 fingers up in the air, and we say some words in Fred Talk that contain the brand new sound t. So we may choose t, o, t, o, tom, that kind of staccato, almost robotic way of saying the sounds. It's good that the children are doing that because it shows that they understand that a word is made up of individual sounds. K, o, t, k, ot, cot, g, ot, g, ot, got, t, op, and so on. You understand. So at the beginning of their phonic journey, we use what we call CVC sounds, 3-letter sounds that are consonant, vowel, consonant sounds that are easy to put together. As children develop more language and they move through the year groups, that gets more complicated. I'm going to come back and share the document with you one more time. So once children have learned their first 5 sounds, this is what we mean when we say we try and foster success in language learning right from the very start. When the children have learned their first 5 sounds, in this case it's m, a, s, t, and d, we move on to our first what we call a word time session. And word time sessions are opportunities for the children to make words from the sounds that they've already learned. We don't need to know all the sounds in the English language to begin to build words, but we do need to start understanding that words are made up of sounds. And so the sooner we can do that, the better. Children develop a tangible understanding of language through making what they know into words. And so it develops that knowledge of sounds right from the very first steps. And the versatility of the English language means that it only takes, well, less than 5 sounds really, but if you have 5 sounds, you can make a variety of different words. And this informs the order in which the letters are taught. So letters that are more versatile, like a, which comes up a lot in the English language, it makes sense that that's one of the first letters to be taught because it comes up so often. So in a word time session, and I'm just going to bring it back, in a word time session, children, they may use a board and a pen, they may use a magnetic board or various different resources, but the idea is to make up words, writing words and reading words using the sounds that they already have learned. So in this case, for example, if you imagine the children have already learned those first 5 sounds, they should be able, with support, to read and to write a word like this. At, mat, mat. Even in nursery, we begin to understand that the English language is read from left to right, and these, what we call sound buttons on the bottom help us to isolate the individual sounds, and then we bring it all together. At, mat, mat. The more exposure to this kind of sound writing, the better. Just using those same first 5 sounds, and again with the knowledge that we've built up before. D, a, d, dad, d, ad, dad. Children can understand that some letters can be repeated in a word to make those sounds, to bring them all together. I'll just do one more. I mean, I feel like I'm teaching you guys things you know. S, at, sat, sat. Just 5 sounds, but it opens up a world of opportunities for children to begin to make their own words. The same applies then after the next set of sounds, and word time sessions are kind of built all the way through RWInc. Where things get a little bit more complicated is as children move up through the school, the charts that we use to show which letters make which sounds are available in all of the classrooms. These are up in all of the classrooms through Key Stage 1. And this is the simple chart. You can see that these letters all make different sounds. If it's in a box on its own, that's the only way in this sense that that sound is made. And we have what we call stretchy consonants like f, l, that the sound stretches out and can go on almost indefinitely. We also have bouncy consonants like b, k, d, g that have a very specific end point. Where things get more complex is further up, because we start to see that there's not, in fact, only one way to make the f sound in English. You might sometimes see it spelled with a double F, or indeed with a PH, as in phone. With the sound, you might see it written with an MB, as in numb. And the complex chart is a way for children to understand that the complexities of English language and the unfortunate realities of the English language is that there are many different ways to write many different sounds, and sometimes it's just a case of knowing the right one. Exposure from an early age is going to help children to develop that knowledge. Here are the consonant blends, the consonant bouncy sounds that sometimes make those same sounds as well. Whereas the complexities of the English language don't end there, unfortunately. We talk very much about green and red words in phonics as well, and I've got a few of these to show you. When we're talking in sounds and we're putting our sounds on our fingers, as we did previously, that's something that you can pick up through RWInc. Fred Frog, who helps us with our sounds, he speaks in sounds. We put them on our fingers, so he can't say cat, he says k-at, and that helps us to develop our phonic knowledge. We call that Fred talk. But we also have something called what we call red words, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what this means. Our green words, and I have just a few of them here as examples, are phonetically decodable words. What that means is when children have once they've learned the letter sound, once they've learned the sound the letter makes, they can read it. In this case, I, N, in. We have a few of these. These sound buttons I find really, really useful to separate those sounds out. It, it. From. Blip, blip. Later on, you start to see groups of letters together. Those are delineated not by a button, but by a line. D-r-s, dress. But when we talk about red words are non-phonetically decodable words, of which in the English language there are many. and the only way to learn these words is through exposure to them. And you do see them very, very often. Words like I, which if you were to look at the letter on its own, you would say I, but it isn't I, it's I. And there is no other way to learn it than through constant exposure to it. Words like the, which if you were to try and decode it, you would say fe, but it can't be decoded in that way. It's a the. Words like be. Words like my. So there's a number of words like that in the English language. Teaching the red words goes hand in hand with the program. So as the children develop through the RWInc program, they're learning the phonetically decodable words, and they're developing the tools to understand the words by learning the individual sounds, but they're also being taught the red words as they come up. Let me just bring this back to the documentation here. So one of the ways in which we continue to expose children to those sounds, and one of the ways that we show them how it all makes sense, is we use the RWInc ditty books and the story books to show them that all of a sudden, certainly in reception, one of the things that I really like to see is how children can read a book now. They only need a few sounds and they begin to work on what we call the ditties. I'm going to show you one of these in just a moment. But all of a sudden, it feels like a big grown-up positive thing that they're doing that they couldn't do when they were in the nursery or before. So let me show you, rather than talk you through the slide, I'm just going to show you one of the very, very early ditty books here, which is called Pin It On. You can right away from the title, you can see how it ties into the phonics.
Steve, I don't know if it's just me, but I don't see you. When you are not showing slides, I only see the blue dot instead of your face. So I don't see anything you're showing right now. Now, yes.
Okay. Am I here for everybody?
No, for me it's the same.
Yes.
I only see you when
For
you
me, yes.
share your personal dates.
And even if you log off and log back on, does it make a difference?
No, it's the same, but I'm going to try again.
Okay. So even in the title of the book, you can see how it's tied into the phonics. Very simple, easy to decode words. In, it, on. Before you begin the ditty, you have a look through the sound chart with the children. Before you begin a ditty book with them, you will have learned all of these sounds, and you get an opportunity before the story begins for the children to have a practice of decoding some of the sounds as well. And there's also some quite good talking points as you go through the ditties. Children may never have seen, prior to beginning this book, an apostrophe written down. It's an opportunity to talk to them about some of the elements, the grammatical elements of English, as well as just the phonetic ones. So it's a really very basic premise. Pin it on. Not on its leg. Not on its chin. And you can see there, just as in the green words earlier on, the ch is underlined because it's what we call in RWInc a special friend. It's two letter shapes that make a single sound. In this case, it's the ch sound. Not on its tum. Yes, that's it. Pin it on. One more time, you can see the underlining on the th sound, which is a digraph that they will have been taught prior to beginning the ditty book. So that really is all I have for you today. I am sorry about the technical issues that we had. Certainly from home, one of the things that we like to encourage certainly is this communication with parents, and it's great that you're able to join in with me here and that I'm able to talk to you a little bit about this as well. We would encourage that you read frequently. It doesn't have to be phonetic books, doesn't have to even be in English. Building that kind of love of books and spending time with parents and carers and brothers and sisters and people that we love, sitting down and having a book together, that the children see that as a positive time is really, really important. Really, studies show that it helps to build lifelong readers, people who really enjoy reading books. When you are reading phonetic work, or when you're working with your children on the work that they bring from school, encourage them to use their sounds when reading and writing. Encourage them to have a think about even if it's a word that they're unfamiliar with, can it be decoded? Can it be sounded out? Can it be put on our Fred fingers? Can we break it down into its sounds? Do we know the sounds? And if not, then you can help with the unknown sounds. Exactly, sounding out unknown words together using Fred talk and Fred fingers, and familiarize yourselves with the sounds as well. There's a great many resources online that that help with pronunciation of sounds. I know a lot of parents have that worry that their pronunciation in English is not native, and there are concerns about that. There's a lot of resources online that I can link you to in the tapestry and on Seesaw that will help us to hear those, what we call the pure sounds, to hear those sounds and break them down. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sticking with me through the technical difficulties. Thank you very much. Feel free to ask me anything if you like to talk to me right now. I'm still going to be here for a while. I'm also always available in the Turtle classroom to talk through any of the things we've talked about today. Your child's class teacher as well is a valuable resource for knowledge about RWInc and phonic development, so you can talk to them as well. That is all for the presentation. I am here if you have any questions for me. Just pop your hand up in the chat.
Thank you so much for everything, Steve.
Thank you. No worries. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very
Thank you
nice
very much.
presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Okay, I'm just going to go through the hands up in the chat just in the order that they pop up. So Aitana.
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
Hi, my daughter Aitana is in year 2. So I want to ask you what kind of books I have to buy for her for improve her reading.
Mm-hmm.
So she was in another school before in China. So she was reading Oxford books. But
yes.
Here I don't know what kind of, because you know the books are with colors, different colors.
Yes.
Depend of the level. So I don't know what kind of books or level or something I have to buy for her.
No, I totally understand. The Oxford Reading Tree books are very good. And they, as you say, are banded by color. They're leveled by color. The Ditty books for RWInc are the same. So they are banded by color and they get progressively more difficult as the children go up through the school. The children will work on their phonic books with their teachers and in their class. I really think the benefit of reading at home is really reading for pleasure. And if there's specific work that the class teacher would like to do with Aitana, then that will be sent with them.
Okay.
I would focus on getting books that Aitana enjoys and that you guys enjoy reading together.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No worries at all. Okay, Serabo.
Hello, my daughter
Hi.
Belen from reception. Now she reads the letters, but
yes.
she doesn't know how to put the sounds together. She can read words, so I don't know if we have to teach her or how to do it, because she knows the words. She says MAD, but she don't know how to do together. You know.
That's interesting. So she's coming home and saying the letter names MAD, not ad.
No, she say a. She said the sound. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Right, I know Belen, and I know she's only been with us for a short period of time. It's great to have her in the school. She will be being taught alongside the letter sounds as part of those speed sound sessions. They will be working on putting those sounds together. Really, it's just a case of exposure. She'll be working on this every day with her class teacher. She'll be working on it in the provision areas as well. Every child develops at their own rate, and if she's bringing the sounds on board, then that's a huge first step. I would say give it time, and if you are still worrying about it a little bit further down the line, then you can talk to the class teacher about her development. The class teacher will be well versed and knowledgeable about where Belen is and what she needs to do next. But for now, I would say don't worry. It's very much a process.
And for those that we don't speak English at home, you recommend that we read with her in English or Spanish or?
Again, I would say the reading time that you have with Belen at home, focus on things that she enjoys to read. I want to build up a love of reading among the children that we have in the class. So focus on the books that she enjoys. If she chooses to read, I mean, I speak Spanish, but I rarely read in Spanish. I like to read in English because it's my time, you know. And oftentimes with the children, we find the same. They're working in English all day in the school, and they would like to do something in their native language when they get home. So I would say focus on things that she enjoys to read, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in English.
Okay, because some sounds are different, so I don't know if I'm confusing her or confusing her or.
I would say, you know, some sounds are different. The benefit of Spanish is that it's also a phonetic language, and it's arguably even more phonetic than English is. So that's she'll be able to put together the fact that in Spanish you make up sounds and they make a word, and in English language works in the same way. I wouldn't worry about it confusing her. If you're starting to see that happening, then bring it up with the class teacher. But again, I know Belen is new to the school, and it may take a little while longer to bring it on board, but it's not something I would worry about at all.
Catalan also, so we teach her Spanish and Catalan.
Of course, which I think is fantastic. You know, that the duality of language in this region, I think, is really useful, because it helps children to understand, even from a young age. Oh, there's some people I speak to in Catalan with, there's some people I speak to in Spanish with. Even some of the children I have in my nursery class, they have those two languages running concurrently. Some of them have 3 or 4 languages that they speak with various different people in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yan Juan.
Hello.
Hi.
How? Yes, you have answered my question. I have no question now.
Okay, great. No, thank you very much. Hong Li, Victoria's mom.
原来举手是要问问题的。
Hi. Hello, Hong Li.
Hello.
Hi. You have your hand up.
Yeah. No, I think I'm the same with the Alex mommy.
All right, great stuff.
Yeah, it's okay.
If you do come up with anything and you change your mind or you forget and we don't have time to do it now, you can always come and find me in the turtle class also.
Oh,
Valeria.
thank you very much. Thank you for the kindness. Thank you.
Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear, yes.
Yeah, I just want to ask you if you recommend the website Oak for Owl, that a friend told me that they have this system, RWInc. Just that I found it very useful with my daughter. She's new at school, and we speak Spanish at home. My English is not so good. So do you recommend this website? I saw like they have a lot of resources like free PDF printable, and I think I don't know if it's the website that you use or that you recommend. Because I found motivated for my daughter having like the same that she have in classrooms.
Sure. I mean, Oxford Owl RWInc is what we are using here. We often find that children react in different ways to different schemes, but the basis of the scheme is very similar in terms of the phonetic development piece by piece. So here we use RWInc. I would stick to the documentation and the bits and pieces that you're receiving from your children's teacher for the time being. If Valeria's in which class?
Sea lions.
Sea lions. Great.
Yeah. We have the letters and the sounds in the yellow book. It's just I'm asking you in a way to support her at home. If you recommend this website, because I saw like they have this system. They offer the same system that you are talking about, the RWInc, and I saw like they have, for example, the M in the same way that you are teaching at school. So for my daughter, it's like very excited to see that I have the same aim that Emma have. You know, for her it's like that.
Sure.
That's why I'm asking you if we can follow this website as a way to support her at home. She's not having any issue with practicing English, even we speak Spanish at home, because I don't know, she's kind of excited about this new learning that she's having at school. So that's why I'm asking you if it's a good way to support at home.
Carolina, I'm just going to jump in there. Yes, it's a brilliant resource. It's a resource that we recommended when we had the lockdown period in March for the Key Stage 1 families. There's lots of lovely interactive resources on there, and it does, you're right, it does support exactly what Steve's been saying there. So yes, it's a lovely resource and a nice one. Maybe we'll reshare that with parents as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Alex.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I can.
Alex is in year 1 butterflies, and he was not on track in the last reports, and I had a meeting with the teachers.
Sure.
And I wanted to ask you for those children that, because his problem is that he needs to develop the reading and the writing, especially to put what he hears onto the paper. That's what I understood. And the question is, what do you do in school to support these children that maybe now are under the level? If you put them with children on, how do you encourage them? If you put them with children on their level, because at home, what I did, I just put him on some classes of handcraft classes for the nutrition, the skills.
Yeah.
And I want and then the English, because we don't speak English at home. We also speak Catalan and Spanish. And the other idea to start writing, he now holds correctly the pencil, with the help, and he holds it now properly. So I think that these things like doing sports, sitting, handcrafts, and then I bought him some books, some Spanish books that I had when I was a child, to follow the words in a pattern. You just it's spotted like lines, and then you follow the words and following some pictures. like a very Spanish traditional way of doing it. And they're very old books that when we were young, we used them. That's the only thing I can feel I can do from home, no? And then I am starting him, now he doesn't cry when I put the TV in English with all these things. So it's some things that I think that he's maybe getting better, but I would like to see what feedback, if you have support teachers, like a 10-minute day help, extra help, because I think that he's in with 3 languages right now, that maybe it's a process of matureness, maybe because this is my 3rd child. With the girls, I did have no problem. I don't know if maybe he's more like he is very physical with lots of movement. He's a boy, and you have to catch him more interested, because I don't know if I'm right, but girls are different.
It's no secret that when you're teaching, when you're getting into teaching and you're first learning, and you look at the information and the data and things related to development of writing particularly, it's harder to get boys than it is to get girls. Absolutely. And that's the case in the UK. I'm sure it's the case here. With Alex, and I do remember this from last year. Alex was bringing on board the phonic element, but it was, as you say, the kind of psychomotricidad element that he was having a little bit more trouble with, and that was getting things down onto paper. Certainly in reception and nursery, we have specific activities to help with psychomotricidad. Things like do disco. Right now in my classroom, I have chopsticks set up and table football going on, and bits and pieces that help with that the physical, developing the strength in a child's hands. As well as part of RWInc, we do have opportunities for formation of letters as well. So it's not only formation of letters on whiteboards, but also, as you say, the kind of slightly more old school, slightly more traditional Spanish, forming the letters, remembering the mnemonics down the tower, across the tower. So we have those opportunities as well. And yeah, as Emma mentioned in the chat, children develop at their own rates. They develop at their own speeds. Alex had the big period of time where we weren't in school.
Yes, very difficult time for him. Yeah.
Of course, yeah, for all of us. Yeah, so I would say to continue on with what's going on in the class. Of course, there are individual sort of mini inputs and mini extra help going on all the time, not just in nursery and reception, but all the way up the school. And yeah, I would say steady as he goes, because Alex is doing very, very well from what I hear. And it's just a case of everybody developing at their own rates. It certainly seems like his phonic development is good, and his hand strength and psicomotricidad is catching up to that.
So you have extra teachers or support, you can support, you have extra.
We do. We have extra. We have people through Key Stage 1 that do individual group work, group reading, bits and pieces with individual children and with small groups of children. So it's not always one teacher, the whole class. It's very much learning goes on in various different ways throughout the day.
Yes, because I feel it's the only thing he needs is some special attention. Sure. Just in short periods of times, maybe. Okay. Thank you very much.
Emma's right. She mentions in the chat if you are unsure about the way things are going in a class, you can always speak to the class teacher about that as well.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Christina.
Hello, Steve. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning.
How are you?
Well, thanks. How's it going?
Yes, this is a question. I don't know if directly to you or maybe Miss Emma Overton, but maybe one day it's possible to have a library in BSB that girls and boys can catch some book and come to home and back, you know, like a biblioteca.
I know what you mean. Certainly in the early years, we have the system whereby books go home every week. Children have an opportunity to read at home with their parents. That happens in nursery reception. Further up the school, Emma, I'm not sure what the system is like there.
Yeah, you're right. A library is such a lovely resource for a school to have, and we do have an LRC, which is our study centre in the secondary building. But what we have done is encourage every single class teacher to create a library section in their classroom. So we have class libraries in all of the classrooms, which obviously works well for us during this coronavirus period. But yes, a central library, especially as the children create their independence to go to the study centre and the library centre. You're definitely right. There's no replacing an actual book, a physical book where we can see the pages and read it. So yes, it's something that we believe quite strongly in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
you very
you.
much. Valeria, we spoke, didn't we? Did we speak?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just have another question.
Sure, no worries, of course. That's what I'm here for.
Thank you. I'm just wondering if it's possible that parents from reception can have a chat, I guess by Teams, with Year 1 parents, that we can have some like advice, share experience, what children face more challenging. I know every child is different, but I think, is that possible? Because we think like many of the parents of the classroom, like it's going to be a big change, right, from reception to Year 1. So if we can learn from the experience of Year 1 parents, I think will be very helpful. I don't know if it's that possible, maybe through Teams like today, right? So we can have some exchange, or maybe do a list about concern that we have as a reception parents with Year 1, and with the Year 1 they can bring, all the challenge and also how they face those challenge. Like, look, I have this issue with my son and I found this resource or this, I don't know, routine, whatever, helpful. I don't know
I think
if
that
is
sounds like
possible.
Caroline,
Like
I think that sounds like a lovely idea. It's nice to kind of just not even the concerns, more kind of the positives, what's worked really well for me. Steve and Andrea and I have been talking about how we can try and bring back our old coffee morning, which we had, which obviously we're unable to do during the coronavirus. But maybe over the next few months, it might be that we could facilitate even, just some sessions to bring some groups of parents together where the main topic might be reading. We can bring in some teachers, we can pull some parents together who've got similar questions. That's a really lovely idea that we could definitely explore.
No, we're always looking for things
nice
to facilitate the early years to Key Stage 1 transition, and certainly having those conversations is really, really important. I think it's a really good idea.
Thank you.
All right, guys, if that's all there is for now, I'm going to go back to the children. I can hear them starting to come up from their sports session. So thank you very much for coming in. As I say, the whole meeting, if you'd like to watch it back, will be available on Teams as soon as it's gone through the electronic process that it has to go through. I will post the PowerPoint presentation, any relevant links onto the tapestry, and I'll get somebody to do that onto the Seesaw for your relevant classes as well. Thank you very much. Thanks for bearing with me through the technical difficulties. And if there's anything else, you always know where to find me here in the early years building in the Turtle class.
Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
nice
you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Well done, Steve. Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. There we go.
Can you stop the recording, Steve?
Oh, yeah, no worries.